Begin transmission. Hello, everybody. It is Chris, aka Starrapter, here with Ben for Outer Rim Transmission. This is episode 205, and today we are breaking down the latest trailer for Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy Pieces of the Past. I keep wanting to saying brick by brick or piece by piece because it just feels so like Lego. But yes, we're talking about that. We're also catching up on some news because we were off last week. Big breaking news of Matt Smith joining the latest Star Wars movie, Star Wars Starfighter, and more on this week's show. Now I want to throw it. Oh man, I was literally saying I'm going to throw it over to Milton because I was really interested to hear his in-depth thoughts about Jedi Fallen Order because we were talking back and forth. But he got pulled away last moment, so he won't be joining us this week. But he'll be back on the next episode. Crossing our fingers on that one. But I'm going to throw it over to you, Ben. What have you been up to, man?
Nothing too much lately. Just been working out, trying to stay cool during this hot summer heat. I don't know about any of our listeners or you, but I'm ready for fall. I'm over the 90 plus degree weather, honestly. So I'm just kind of over it. But other than that, yeah, it's just been pretty good the last few weeks. Been busy with family stuff and whatnot. Just wrapping up summer really. And then other than that, the last few weeks, I haven't had like anything too crazy with Star Wars going on personally. The only thing I did want to comment on, since we weren't on, or since I wasn't on last week when you and Matthew went live to discuss all the High Republic stuff, was so normally we don't like address a lot of like the drama or negativity around the Star Wars fandom on here just because it's just what it is. But there was a whole controversy of a lot of Star Wars fans, even people that are really pro Star Wars, criticizing George Lucas's comments from Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, because he talked about like, if you get art, if you acquire art, you shouldn't like go and resell it for profit. So people took his comments that, you and me liked it a lot, his comments, because it was well thought out. And they took those comments and, spun it in a way, well, like, oh, George, you sold Star Wars to Disney. And, first of all, like, people don't realize, like, for one, he didn't acquire Star Wars, he created Star Wars. So, like, that's a different technicality there, as Obi-Wan would say, from a certain point of view. And then also for two, I just got to, like, throw this out there. Anybody, like, who criticized George, if you had almost $5 billion put in front of your face for whatever it is you love, I mean, let's be real, everybody. We'd all cash out on that right now. So I just don't, I don't think that was like a great thing for a lot of the Star Wars fans, because I seen that everywhere a couple weeks ago. And I was just like shaking my head because, we're getting George out and about at 81 years old. It's like, guys, like, let's not go hard in the paint on the guy 15 years later. Like, we should have been criticizing him back then when they sold it to Disney. So I just don't think it was a good look by a lot of Star Wars fans. And I just wanted to like throw that out there and be like, come on, everybody. Like, everybody has a price. And if it starts with billion, we're all selling.
Yeah, you can't hide the fact that that price point is creating is going to create a lasting legacy, hopefully. And he's done deals plenty of
With the
times with
museum,
Disney in the past. Yeah,
this
doing the
museum was
parks.
estimated to be like almost $1 billion, I believe, to create.
Oh yeah, yeah. We got the news about what that was going to entail, different things a couple weeks ago,
Yeah,
Comic Con. It's going to be a great place to go and visit. But yeah,
yeah.
it's just out of bad taste. People just need to see this is the crap that happens, Ben, when there's not big Star Wars news.
Well,
People
Chris,
will
now
literally
what do I
take
always tell you?
anything and just make it drama because hey, things are really quiet right now. Let's just drum up all these people to go crazy.
Yep. Well, what do I always say? When Star Wars fans are bored, that's when all of these controversies appear. Like even if we had a show like The Bad Batch going on right now, that would have never happened because people would have been occupied with, discussing that, moving on to the next episode of that, whatever.
Yeah.
But since not, the most recent Star Wars thing for people to complain about was the creator himself. So I was just kind of shaking my head a bit and like disappointed by a lot of the Star Wars fans the last couple weeks that were criticizing George because I'm like, people, even if you take the money side of it out of it, if you actually just listen to what George said, like I said, it's he literally said if you acquire art, so like if I go and purchase the Mona Lisa, he believes I shouldn't resell it. He never said I shouldn't sell my painting that's hanging on the wall right here behind me or something that I made myself, you know? Like so I just think it's a lot of people they read into things and they read into it incorrectly just to spin narratives for clicks and views and fake outrage. And that's why, like I said off the top, that's why, we're always just trying to, we're critical when we're critical here on Outer Rim Transmission, but we're not just trying to focus on all the crazy drama of the week stories from Star Wars.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. That's what it is. We're talking about the stuff that matters, the stuff that we care about, and we definitely
Yep.
couldn't care less about that stupid stuff. So,
Yep.
speaking of Bad Batch, I haven't talked to you guys. I've been sending you messages about how much I've liked the Bad Batch Sanctuary novel. I liked it so much. I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. It's actually probably my favorite Star Wars book of the year, one of my favorites of the last decade.
I-
And this is a book that I had no hype for because as soon as I heard it was during season 2 of the show, I was like, well, that just deflates all enthusiasm because I want to see what's next for them. Why are we going to get a story that's told in between storylines we already know about? Are we going to be stuck on Pabu for 300 pages? And I couldn't be more wrong because, first of all, you are not on Pabu for longer than like 10 pages or something like that. You're going around the galaxy. You're getting stuff like out of Rogue One. Yes, I'm being very vague, but there's certain sequences here that mirror Rogue One in a way that are really really cool, and I'll make you guys I'll let you guys read the book to find out that moment for yourselves. Um, but even beyond that, it really fleshes out the characters and all, and it really just makes Tech like and that relationship with him and oh gosh, what is her name? Genoa. Last name is I want to say like Farah. No, the one antiquity
oh,
hunting
Fee.
lady. Fee. Fee Genoa. I think that's the name. Anyway, yeah, so it makes that relationship blossom a little bit more. Makes this more of like a tragedy for Tech because there's a lot more things like building his character, and same with the entire Bad Batch. So it actually got me so hyped on those characters that I started my rewatch. So I've been watching the Clone Wars episodes with Bad Batch, and I'm gonna take my time with it, like watch an episode a week or two, uh, and just get into it because like I liked the Bad Batch a lot when it was on air. But I don't know, man. After reading that book, like they have now soared into like the higher pantheon of my favorite Star Wars characters in general. So yeah, enhancing the content that's already out there is a masterful job by Lamar. I don't know if you pronounce his name Giles or Giles, but anyway, like he needs to do more Star Wars because he reminds me a lot of Alexander Freed, who is really good at writing like boots on the ground, spycraft. That's what was happening here with this ISB officer in this book. So yeah, that was my week in Star Wars. It's like, yeah, I'm actually getting into the weeds with the Bad Batch, and um, if it wasn't for this little my week in Star Wars, I'm gonna talk about the other thing I had on backup in case I wasn't gonna mention this for some stupid reason if I forgot. It's, I guess you could call it Star Wars adjacent, but it's about the furthest flung thing that'll connect to Star Wars. But I'm just using this as a reason to talk about the Alien franchise, all right? Because
Yep.
I um I've only ever watched the first movie, and that was only about a year ago because I was traumatized as a kid from seeing the chest bursting scene when I shouldn't have been walking in the room at that time at like 5 years old. And I was like, no way, I've never got nightmares the rest of my life. So anyway, I find out about Alien Earth as this new series, and I'm like, I'm honestly watching nothing right now. Let me just give this a shot. It's like before all the other movies, so I'm like, okay. Long story short, I really love the episode. It's got I didn't even realize it, Ben. It's got a Star Wars alumni in it.
Mm,
It's
I
got
didn't know that.
Timothy Oliphant playing a synthezoid character, a synthetic character, which is
Hmm.
like their version of droids, like human looking droids. So he is a stoic, robotic, human but robot character. And I won't tell you anything about the story because I'm just talking about my experience. Where this links with Star Wars is obviously there's a lot of movies in the franchise. I counted all the current ones. I think there's 7 movies. So I'm like, I watched the first two episodes of the series. They're putting out one a week from here on out. I think it's like 8 episodes. So I'm like, all right, I'm really jazzed about this series. I'm really, running high off of that second episode. I'm gonna start watching the movie. So I started watching them in chronological order. So this is where I'm getting at with this whole scheme of me talking about Alien on a Star Wars podcast. Is like, yes, I'm watching things not the way they were intended. I'm watching it chronologically. I think most Alien fans will say like Prometheus is not like. There's a lot of weird. Apparently, I'm learning a lot about the alien community. Like recently, going in because I've chatted with my other buddies about this. Like, oh, I watched Prometheus. It was really good. And then I watched immediately Alien Covenant. I'm like, guys, I see the connections. I see where like the xenomorphs can connect and end up in alien Earth. And they're like, no, it doesn't match up on the timeline and all this sort of thing. Long story short, again, I'm beating around the bush here. Is like, yeah, instead of watching this like Alien to Aliens to Alien 3 and all that, I'm starting like what like if I were watching the Phantom Menace and going
Yep.
that way. So I don't know what your experience with the Alien franchise in general is. If you've watched any of the movies, I know you're planning on watching the series, but I wanted to mention that at least.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm actually. That's what my plan is. After the podcast tonight is to hop on there and watch both of those episodes actually, just so I
Nice.
can like watch week to week basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really like the Alien franchise. I think it's a good franchise. For me, like with Aliens, and then of course, like I was messaging about like the Predator connection in the trailer. That's going to connect at some point in the show. I mean, I'm assuming they didn't connect that in the first episode or two, but that's going to connect eventually based on the trailer. Um, and I just think it's one of those franchises to me. Like I have all like my main ones above it, of course, like Star Wars, Indy, whatever, Jurassic. But to me, this falls kind of like right behind like like the monster franchise, like Godzilla, those types of things. Like I like a lot of the sci-fi, whether it be like the Alien franchise, Godzilla, Predator, whatever. I like a lot of those types of sci-fi things. Just because my grandma who got me into Star Wars, she got me into all of those things because
Nice.
she didn't like he didn't like any of the movies that were like The Godfather or stuff like that because she's like, oh, that's just slow, boring, stupid stuff. You want to watch sci-fi, you want to watch sci-fi. So that's why I got introduced to all that stuff. I mean, when I was a kid, she showed me like Schwarzenegger's
Ooh,
Predator movie was in and all that, like all these things. Like I just, it's definitely a good franchise, and I really can't wait to see what they do with it, and especially like we're gonna lead up to some sort of, I mean, probably a modern Alien versus Predator. I'm assuming.
oh man, yeah. So not to make this an Alien Earth episode, but I think it's worth at least talking about my impressions of the
Hey,
episodes.
it's the Star Wars off season. We're all probably semi fans of sci-fi here, so I'm sure it's fine. We can veto that into this podcast.
What I think makes the episode so strong for me is the lore dump, is the world building. I was immediately sucked in. Like, within the first, they give you like some text in the beginning, kind of like a Star Wars crawl in a way, kind of like what Solo
Mhm.
does, where it gives you like background on like, ooh, what a cyborg is, what is a synthetic, what is the difference between these new things called hybrids. So like, it really does a lot with like making us understand like this is hard sci-fi. You have humans interacting with like robots that look like humans and really cool stuff like that. You have AI like that are controlling these ships that they're in. You have like it reminds me of Halo. Ben, I know you're a Halo TV series fan. I got like strong
Yep.
Halo vibes from this TV
Mhm.
series. Say what you will
Hey,
about
that's
that
fair.
series. I like the series. I know it's not the best thing ever
Oh
made.
yeah, I love it. I love that series.
So
Unapologetically, it's good.
yeah, like you're gonna like it because there's like I got that feeling of them being on the ships and all. It reminded me a lot of the Halo and
Mhm.
Paramount, and you end up having like this really cool background about these corporations, these different corporations, like far in the future of Earth. Like New York City, for instance, isn't called New York City. It'll be called like City, and then you'll have like Seattle called Google City, right? And these corporations are vying for power to gain territory, and like it just was a very interesting like politics that I didn't expect in the series. And don't get me wrong, the xenomorph action in these first two episodes is amazing horror done right on a
Yep.
TV series that I haven't seen really like that before. Like it really is gripping. And then even crazier is the body horror stuff that happens that's not jump scares that you look at this thing you're like, oh, that gives me the creeps, stuff like that where it's like, oh, so they don't shy away from that. But what really gets me excited is the characters and the technology and the background of all this stuff. And then you also have like the alien killing people, which is always fun to see.
Yeah.
So that's what was shocking to me. I was like, oh, I was expecting this to be kind of like dumb fun. Like, oh, we're just going to see people just dying every 5 minutes by this thing. But no, it's like, it goes really to good lengths, and it actually has like other alien creatures too, which is really neat.
I just thought of something actually. With you talking about all of that, I just remembered. So with this being like Disney and Hulu, um, I bet you they are. I mean, we've seen that. Like I said, we've seen the Predator skull in the trailer. I completely forgot until this moment about they had that Predator movie a few years ago on Hulu that was really good. It was like an hour and 40 minutes long, maybe. I think it might have
Prey?
been called Prey, actually. Um, but it was very, very good. So it makes me wonder if they're gonna like connect over into that even or something, since it's kind of in the same Hulu universe or whatever. Um, so yeah, I just thought of that. I think there's a lot of interesting things with this whole alien situation, because I just think with like a franchise like Alien or Godzilla or things like that, it's never going to be Star Wars or Superman or Marvel or whatever. But if it can be a franchise where it's like John Wick, where it's just like a good, solid franchise, that's all you need. You don't need it to be making $1 billion or whatever, or a
Mm,
billion million subscribers or whatever. Like, I just think with something like this, you just need it to be just solid and it's successful, because, like, most people who are watching like shows like this, we're not looking for the Godfather here. We're looking
yeah.
for aliens. We're looking for sci-fi action and whatever. And I'm here for it, and I'm definitely can't wait to watch it now tonight and this upcoming episode, and I'm sure we'll probably briefly review it next week too, since it's kind of like the off season here.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Oh, we got my good friend Dan Grievous, and thanks for joining us. Cause I don't even know what time in the morning it is for you, man. He's over across the pond, if you will, and he said I think there was a Prey connection in the recent animated Predator movie with the Vikings
Ooh.
and samurai. Yes, I started watching it, and I gotta preface this saying that I fall asleep on pretty much any movie, no matter how good it is, after I start watching it at like 10 o'clock at night. I'm always falling asleep. It doesn't matter how much action is in it. Okay, it's 2:31 a.m. where he is, so we appreciate you watching
Oh
right now.
my.
Um, but yeah, that I started watching that movie. Like, it's so cool, Ben. There's the Predator movie. It's animated, and it's like this Predator's going to all these different timelines, and there's like interacting with the different like huge like archetypes of like human society and war, like the Vikings, samurai, stuff like that. So
Mm.
I do plan on. Dan, I do plan on going back and watching all the Predator movies because just like Alien franchise, I don't think I could even say I've watched a single Predator movie from start to finish. I've watched like bits and pieces of the original, of course, um, but I do want to do a because I watched the trailer for Predator Badlands, I think it's called,
Yeah.
and that is really cool. Like I was watching that in ahead of Fantastic Four. I said, "Oh my gosh, I got to see this movie," which means I have to go back and watch literally all the Predator movies because basically the creator of this movie said he basically took homage to The Empire Strikes Back with Chewbacca carrying C-3PO on his shoulders, and you have like a synthetic character being lugged around by a female predator, and she's out there killing these animals. Have you seen the trailer?
No, I've not actually.
Oh,
I
it's
know.
like
I've
really
heard.
good.
Interesting. Gosh, well, at this rate, we might be starting a Predator Alien review podcast.
Oh. Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, there you go. For more Predator and Alien talk, you can tune back in Outer Rim Transmissions. In 2 weeks, because we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. We'll have more episodes that are about. You'll be caught up. I'll try to mention to Milton if he has time, if he could watch a couple of the episodes, if he's a fan or not. This is what happens, guys. This is gonna be fun. It's gonna be. Remember last year or wait, it was like 2 years ago already that Indiana Jones came out. We reviewed Indiana Jones on the channel, so
Yep.
it's
Indiana
the
Jones. We reviewed the Snyder Cut. We reviewed a few different other things other than Star
yeah.
Wars.
Screw it. We're a fandom podcast. All right, we're not a yeah fandom, but there's another word I was looking, a genre. That's the word, a genre podcast. All right, horror,
Hey,
sci-fi, fantasy.
hey, we'll just view it this way. In our head canon, these movies, we'll just head canon them into Star Wars. These will be the movies that Luke and Han and them are just watching in their free time, in between missions.
Oh
So
yeah, oh yeah.
we'll review.
Oh, and I won't spoil it, but there is a funny our world connection in Alien
Mm,
Earth. And I'll
interesting.
leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Well, alrighty. So we're gonna actually talk about Star Wars now, guys, on our primarily Star Wars podcast. Who would have thought? So first, before we get involved with that, make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you know when we go live, especially by hitting that notification bell icon. We go live Sundays, not every Sunday. In the summer, we're all busy doing different things, but we will always put up a post like the day about the day before. Usually the link goes up like the night before, that sort of thing. But if you can't watch us live, that's okay because we are available to stream or download on audio, mainly Spotify, Apple, any kind of podcast catcher you have. We should be on there. Just look up Outer Rim Transmission. And there you have it. So, getting into what came out this week, we have a single Star Wars comic, and that was Jedi Knights issue number 6. You can check out my thoughts over on this channel, youtube.com/Starrapter. I was going to say, oh, you can check out our discussion on the Star Wars Underworld, but we actually skipped a week on that. But we'll be back with Matthew. I'll be back with him on the Tractor Beam podcast reviewing the comics, which we'll be talking about Jedi Knights and Star Wars issue number 4, I think it is, I believe, this upcoming Wednesday at 9 o'clock, again, over on the Star Wars Underworld YouTube channel. Um, but yes, we're going to get into the news that dropped last week. I believe it was on Monday, maybe. It might have been a different day. It doesn't matter because we apparently have Matt Smith joining Star Wars Starfighter as a villain. This was brought to us by Deadline, so it's as good as it'll ever be as far as good, reliable sourcing. Um, I'll read verbatim here. After fighting battles for House Targaryen, Matt Smith is ready to take his next fight to a galaxy far, far away. As sources tell Deadline, the House of Dragonstar is on board to join Ryan Gosling and Lucasfilm's Star Wars Starfighter. Mia Goth is also on board with Sean Levy is directing the pick. Jonathan Tropper penned the script. Wait, I've never heard that name before. That's news to me. Jonathan Tropper. Have you heard of this guy
No,
before?
no idea.
Anyway, that threw me for a loop for just reading this blurb from Deadline. But anyway, yes, he is going to be I won't say the villain because we know Mia Goth is also a villain. So that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But I'll throw it to you first. What was your initial reaction um, to hearing Matt Smith in Star Wars?
Well, my initial reaction was, well, it's finally time after he was supposed to be a villain back during the sequel trilogy. So it's good. It's good that he's on board because, he's a really good actor. Like that's the important thing for me when it comes to these Star Wars castings and whatever castings. Like to me, as long as they're like a really good actor and they can do the job, like and fit the role or whatever, then it's fine. Like just because he's a big name doesn't mean it's a bad casting or whatever. Just because he brings that gravitas, he's already played in like a fantasy franchise in Game of Thrones, and I just think with him, he really brings that extra to the stakes of everything. And like, I just think with him, it's different than bringing someone on like The Rock, for example, because The Rock's just too celebrity, I think, for Star Wars at this point. Um, and like Matt Smith, to me, honestly, when I first seen this casting, I thought, oh yeah, he's going to be leading some Imperial Remnant break off segmented group or whatever, after the First Order, or First Order Remnant maybe, or something, because
Hmm.
he already has that accent, and I think he can do a really good job with a whole villain type of role for this movie.
Yeah, so we've seen him in another Disney property. Not many people's favorite movie, to say the least, is he was the villain in Morbius, if you remember that movie.
Mhm.
If you've ever even watched that movie. Have you watched
No, I
it?
I skipped it because I heard it was so bad.
Ah! So yes, I think you won't find any websites on this news story saying, "Oh yes, the villain from Morbius is playing the villain in Starfighter," because that is not going to do him any credit. Although, for what it's worth, I mean, I've never seen Matt Smith phone in anything. Like even in that movie,
Yep.
like he was actually trying, even though everything around him with the script and all the stuff was just not good at all, obviously. Um, but I mean, yeah, he was originally going to be casted as young Palpatine in The Rise
Yeah.
of Skywalker. This is cool, man. This is really neat because I mean, I don't think this has ever really happened before, to my knowledge, of like somebody who was like heavily like in talks to be a part of Star Wars. That fell through, but then they're in another part of Star Wars, right? Like
Yep.
there might be an instance of that somewhere, but it's cool to see like he must be really, really big into Star Wars to be like, let me take another shot at this again. You know what I mean? Because that could be annoying for the actor, right? Like you're getting in a
Yeah.
headspace to be like, I'm gonna be in this movie, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was like with the director change from Trevorrow to J.J. Abrams, and they're like, oh,
It
this
was the
part doesn't
director
exist anymore.
change.
It was.
Yeah, because from what I've heard from, or from what's out there, even not even just from what I've heard from people, it's just like there was supposed to be some sort of young Palpatine like clone type of character fighting Kylo and Rey, and then it got shifted eventually back to like Ian McDermott, basically.
Oh.
So that's where kind of like Palpatine's young version got eliminated. So you have that. Hey, now what would you do, Chris, if you opened Starfighter with somehow a younger Palpatine returned? What if he's
Yeah,
playing young
yeah, that would.
Palpatine
Oh
clone?
gosh, let's not have that. I do stand corrected. This is why it's good to have chat enabled when we're doing this podcast. I did say he was part of Disney before. That's not correct. Morbius
uh,
is a Sony property. Thank you very much, Dan Grievous.
oh,
You know,
that's
it's
good
a
to know.
Marvel thing, so automatically when I think of Marvel, half the time my brain goes to Disney, even though they had that Spider universe that they were trying to spin off the ground, but it never really got footing, if you know what I mean. Even though there is a new Spider-Man movie that's coming out, which I am looking forward to. But anyway, I digress. Had to interject there. But yes, no, do not have any kind of emperor. We're done with that. We're done with people coming back.
Hidden Palpatine clone that Mia Goth releases.
Oh geez, oh geez. I mean, and let's do away with the First Order business. Like we've already dealt with the First Order as a contingency of the Empire. Let's just have something new, something different, something fresh.
Mhm.
I don't know what you could do. I mean, there's no description at all for this character, but you know, I when I look back to Matt Smith, my first introduction with this actor, where I really liked this actor, was from being the 10th Doctor. No, 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 sorry, the 11th Doctor in Doctor Who. Um,
Yep.
his first instance on the scene was in that episode where they find him after basically reanimating or whatever they call it. See, I'm not a Doctor Who guy that much anymore. It's been years since I watched him, so I don't know the verbiage and all that. All right, guys, but he transforms into Matt Smith, and Matt Smith has like a hunger craving, and he ends up in this person's house, and they find him like rummaging through the fridge, and what he finds is the most weird combination to eat, and it's fish fingers and custard. And that was his catch line: is fish fingers and custard. He's sitting there, this is a British show, obviously, so fish fingers is basically in America fish sticks, custard
Yep.
in England meaning ice cream. So he's having fish sticks and ice cream in the middle of the night after just transforming from David Tennant's Doctor. That was my first outing with this actor, and since I know me and you have been really enjoying what he's been doing on House of the Dragon. I mean, oh my
Can't wait
gosh,
for the
his
next
acting
season.
in that is ooh, the character, the plot, his arc as a character in that story. I've read like the book it's based on, and it's just he's portraying that character of Daemon Targaryen so freaking well.
Mhm. Yeah, that show's amazing.
Like that battle scene, like I gotta see him in combat in this show. I mean, in this movie, whether hand to hand combat or something, because like
Well,
that episode, dude, when he's on the beach and it's like the Crab King or whatever he is, and he is just going through like taking arrows. He's like one man versus an army of people. It was
yeah.
awesome.
Well, see, there were a lot of moments in House of the Dragon where like some of his scenes you could just imagine him being in a Star Wars villain scene. You know what I mean? Just the way he portrays himself, like he he really fits that archetype so well. And I think uh I think with him being in this, it'll definitely you know Mia Goth's a good actress. Like we looked at her stuff before, but when you bring in a big actor like this, um, if I had to put my money on it, I would say he's probably going to be the headlining villain. If I would have to guess, just because he's such a huge actor, and it's kind of like Pedro Pascal right now. He's a hot actor in Hollywood, like in terms of he's done a lot of successful things lately, with especially with House of the Dragon being so big. I just think I think with him, he could be a really interesting character for this, especially for the time period. That's something everyone keeps overlooking, I think, as well with this movie is,
Mm,
it's about 5 or 6 years after Rise, so we still are in the aftermath of the events of that. We're still not like fully out of the woods yet per se. It specifically even from after Return of the Jedi from like the comics and stuff. When the
yeah.
Emperor gets taken out, it's not like all the droids shut off, or like in Phantom Menace, it's not like all
Yep.
the droids shut off. Like there's still their stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm sure from your estimation, like I'm sure there's still First Order people out there or
Oh yeah.
something.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because like a prime example of this, right? There's the legacy of Vader comics by Charles Soule and Luke Ross that are ongoing right now. We're issue number 7. And it's that year gap between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker when Kylo Ren is Supreme Leader after killing Snoke. He has assumed the full might and power of the First Order. And we're seeing them, man. Like the First Order,
Mm.
say what you will, is like a military faction, but they are quick and agile in conquering and taking over planets. Like in the span of 7 comics, all right? Kylo Ren and General Hux have gone through. They've taken over Corellia. They've taken over Naboo. They've taken over just several big planets with a relatively small force because their technology and their navy and their different their technology, their ships is pretty good, right? They're able to go and sweep in, ambush, and just by fear they crush their enemies and take them. So magnify that by a whole year. They've taken over probably a good amount of territory in that one year. Now, I was talking about this on the podcast I was part of a couple weeks ago. I think they're really good at taking territory, but we haven't really seen First Order really like control stuff.
Yep.
So like they could take it like by fear, but like how are they with governing? How are they with like establishing rule on the planet for a long duration? I don't know. I guess maybe that's what a movie like this could touch on. Like if there are like remnants,
Yeah.
like how we do have a new book coming out in October, which is going to tell us hopefully something. It's called Last Order. It's about Finn. It's about Janna. They're going after a First Order surviving officer that had been responsible for them being like that crazy brain stuff where they get, into the First Order, whatever,
Yep.
like brainwashed, like this guy that brainwashes them as kids. They're gonna go hunt him down after Battle of Exegol. So I'm hoping to learn some more information there. But yeah, you know, if something's been around for even a year, like that
Well,
stuff is gonna still be around for a little bit of time.
yeah. Well, see, the thing I bring that up is because the end of Rise of Skywalker, all the people that showed up, that was just like galaxy wide. That wasn't a specific rebel fleet. You know, it was like the galaxy ganging up to go to war against Palpatine and his cronies. So now, like, presumably, a lot of those people, I'm sure, would go back to their own interests. So it's like, will the rebel fleet be small, where it's like, hey, we gotta like spend these next few several years like trying to figure out where people are, the First Order people are, or whatever. Because there's a lot of angles they could go with this whole thing. I just, I don't know. It's gonna be really interesting to see because they're setting the tone for post Rise of Skywalker with this movie, and then whenever we get the Rey movie, that is kind of going to be this is kind of the stepping stone into this era before even the Rey movie comes out.
Oh yeah, there's a lot riding on this. Um, I mean, they could easily just go, hey, this is a side story isolated on like one planet. Like they could take the approach a lot of the novels take. A lot of the novels,
Yep.
um, especially the one that came out about the acolyte with Jackie and Yord. It basically primarily takes place on this planet we've never heard of. It's like in a pocket of the galaxy. So like whatever happens on this planet is not gonna really matter for anything else. So I would hate for them to do that. Like that's the easy way out, right? Like let's just be on this outskirt planet, outer rim. We're not even gonna mention any of the events of the Rise of Skywalker. Let's have this consolidated. I mean, people might like that though. People might like that idea of like let's just make a spin-off. This is a
But our
spin-off in a way.
connected brains want it to be like, all right, what's the state of the galaxy and like,
Yeah,
what's going on here?
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and I agree. There's got to be something with that. As fans, we've been waiting since 2019. By the time that comes out, it'll be 2027, right? So we're looking at 8 years since the end of what we knew as the saga. So that's enough time to keep us fans waiting. It's almost been as long of a wait between that and with Revenge of the Sith and Force Awakens, right? So it's
yeah.
all right, Lucasfilm. Let's hope you guys cooked up. But anyway, finishing up this discussion here, I'm just happy that we got another profound actor. It's so funny to think that Star Wars now built itself up on these relative unknown actors, and this is the first movie where they're just like leading with like announcement after announcement where we're going, whoa, we know that guy, we know that guy, we know that
Yep.
girl, right? They're leading with the talent rather than the story, essentially, is what's happening here. So we're gonna see how it goes. We're gonna see how it goes.
Yeah, I think with them, I genuinely believe the reason they're doing that though is an unfortunate one just because of the state of Star Wars movies, of where they got left off. So, and then even like the last few years, things have been shaky. Viewership hasn't been great on anything, whether it be any of the stuff really. It hasn't been amazing. So I think they're like, all right, we got to like look at another approach to this, and like let's go and grab some talented actors like Matt Smith or like Gosling and all those folks. Like I think we're going to get more and more of that. Honestly, I really do. I think even when we get to the Ray movie, I think we'll be getting bigger actors than Daisy Ridley in that movie, for example, to
Mm.
potentially play villains in that because it's just basically it's like a sports team. You gotta after your sports teams had so many losses, you got to start just bringing in just straight up raw talent to basically convince your fans I'm trying to win here. I'm trying to do good at least. I'm at minimum trying. That's like all those years like Milton's team, the Eagles, they were solid through the 2010s, but then they just started bringing in talent in every round of the draft and free agency, and then
Mm-hmm.
they build a consistent contending team with that talent. And that's kind of like what Star Wars is going to have to do now. They have to take this other approach where they're like, all right, we got to just reassess here and just start bringing in sheer talent, and then the good acting will elevate the material. Like even if it's a B level story, for example, the acting could elevate it maybe to like an A minus. So I think that's where what they're going to be trying to do here with getting these quality actors involved.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So there you have it. Let us know in the comment section down below. What are your feelings on Matt Smith joining the Star Wars galaxy? Well, we just received an unfortunate breaking news. Unfortunately, the actor Terrence Stamp, who once played the Chancellor of the Republic in The Phantom Menace, predating Palpatine, has passed away at the age of 87. He was also in the Superman movies. Oscar nominated, I believe. Superman movie, um, General Zod. He played, and I've still have yet to go back and watch those old Superman movies. But
The original's perfect.
okay,
Oh yeah, it's good.
okay, yeah. So this is what I mean. 87. He lived a long life. I don't know the cause, right? This just literally came out like earlier today. But I just wanted to shine a light on his career a little bit, on his achievement. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing with him is he of course as Zod he was good in the Superman movie. That Superman movie for the longest time, up until this one that just came out with Corn Sweat, was arguably either it was depending on the day. It's kind of like Star Wars. Depending on the day, it went back and forth with Man of Steel. So
Mm.
like it's in my top three in Superman movies ever, at minimum. And he was great in that. And then of course in Star Wars, I think the thing with him is um his acting was really good, like as Chancellor Valorum. Like when you see his scenes, like he's not he's not like as bad as like the prequel memes are, like how people like dog on the kid that plays Anakin. Chancellor Valorum, his acting was good in Phantom Menace. So I didn't mind him. And I actually, the funny thing is, or well, not funny thing obviously, but the ironic thing is I actually seen a clip of him. I don't know. It was maybe a month ago, but it was an old clip from like a convention, like from the early 2000s, of him like just talking about how like George asked him to like come to a convention or whatever, and he said like of course like he couldn't turn it down and whatnot. And he was like talking about enjoying like being like around the fans or whatever. So it was cool just seeing that little throwback clip. But yeah, it's unfortunate news. Um, but the good thing is, I mean, he lived a long life. When you're approaching 90, you've lived a really good long life. So that's good. And he's gotten some good recognition over the years, of course. So yeah, all our thoughts to his family and loved ones.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So there you go. There you go. Getting into our main topic of the evening, it's always hard to segue away from a sad moment like this one. But we are talking about the brand new trailer for Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy, Pieces of the Past. And we took some screenshots here for the show. So I'm going to just talk through these as we go through. But yes, looking here, we have the main cast, right? I guess when did this come out? Like 2 years ago, or no? Was it last year? Right? It came out last year, I
No, that
believe.
was. Have we had? I think we had two segments of these, didn't we?
No, I think
Is this our third?
no. We had different holiday specials or
Oh yeah,
different
yeah.
things like
Oh yeah, no.
that.
This one came out last year. I
Yeah,
think the other one. I mean.
yeah. Because they had a clear cliffhanger with the Landalorian and Baby Grogu
Yep.
or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. So here we go. Like the main thing is with this one here is we're looking at um the two were they brothers? See, this is why I should do my homework, guys. They
I believe they were.
they were brothers, and one turned to the dark side, and the other got into a time warp where his brother became a dark sider.
Mm.
And now here we are with this. Right now we're going into a new storyline. Um, the main thing is I'm taking screenshots because yeah, storyline is fun and all, but I think the main reason why we gravitate toward this series is the what if of it all. Right? We don't have like an
Yep.
official like Star Wars what if canonical show, but when it comes to Lego Star Wars, they kind of go off the beaten path quite a bit, and they do not have any kind of hinging or any kind of restraint on what they can do with the
Yeah.
characters. So a lot of these screenshots we're talking through is like, hey, that looks really cool. Oh, I never thought about this. Like for instance, this one here, I'm looking at a Lucrehawk separatist ship, like the droid control ship from the Phantom Menace, and it's basically a gigantic magnet of some degree because it does have like another ship like part like attached to the back to look more like a an elongated version of this thing. So yeah, that for me that's really funny to see that. Like here we
Oh
go.
yeah. I think.
Here we go. Here it looks like a giant magnet thing.
Oh yeah. I think. That's the coolest part about this whole series. Like you said, whatever. The story looks good. It looks like a solid continuation of the first one. I just think the big thing with this whole um universe or whatever of the Lego universe of Star Wars is it's just the whole what if side of it because you can do a lot of different things like this with the droid ship or switching heroes and villains or whatever else. And like you said, they there's no filters or restrictions on this. I mean, they've taken so many little side stabs at like a lot of the fun criticisms that fans have had about certain aspects of the franchise, which is cool. Like it's good that they're allowed even the freedom of that. I mean, Mark Hamill poked fun at his whole arc in the sequel trilogy in that first one.
Yeah.
So I just think it's nice. Like I said it on our first review of the first one, and I'll say it again on this trailer. Like Star Wars sometimes is just too buttoned up and too serious. Like just lighten up a little because the thing is, I think when it comes to like these Lego specials, people appreciate when you can poke fun at yourself and make fun of yourself over stuff. People appreciate self-deprecating humor and like these Lego episodes, they incorporate just enough where it's not just like a kids thing, where it has like little snippets if you pay attention where it's like, oh, that's funny if I'm in the know of what's happening on social media with Star Wars, like, you know, it's a little nod to it. So it's a nice thing for even adults too.
Oh yeah. So this one here, this image here, commentating because I know not everybody's watching these where we are talking in an audio form too. This is more reason why this week on episode 205 you should tune into youtube.com/Starrapter to give us a view and watch what we're talking about. But getting back into the show, we have Darth Salatus, our new villain for Pieces of the Past here. These are 4 episodes, by the way, which I believe will be all out at the same time, which begs the question that I had for the first 4 episodes. Why not just put these in a movie and just release it? Like, why do they have to be separate episodes? Are people really just like stopping at one and then just, I guess they are probably. It's a good stopping point, and then you watch another one the next day. Put it as a movie, guys. I don't know why Star Wars has not had like a movie like Marvel has done it. Anyway, that's my little
At least it
soapbox.
spreads the content out for us in this slow time.
Yeah, and I realize that now they pushed like they're constantly pushing stuff forward. I've noticed on Disney Plus, like the Wakanda Eyes of Wakanda, which is a great animated series, 4 episodes. They pushed that forward. Then they're pushing forward Marvel Zombies. They don't like to ever have anything coming out between Star Wars and Marvel at the same time, so that's probably why they're putting this all out, so it doesn't run into like the Marvel Zombies series. But anyway, I digress. Getting back on board here, we have Darth Salatus. He reminds me a lot of a cross between Snoke and the Emperor. This is a villain for Palpatine. Now we know this Palpatine is a good guy. We gotta have another master bad guy. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good stand-in for a bad guy, and I love how they flipped Palpatine and Vader. It's a nice touch. It's just I really do like what they've done with this series.
Hmm. Yeah, and now we have a Jedi and a Sith essentially working together. The brothers there working together. Um, I like the new design. I think his name is Dev,
Yeah,
perhaps.
I think so.
Yeah. So it's not something we've ever seen in Star Wars. Two brothers, one on the dark, one on the light. Not in canon, right? In Legends, right?
Yep.
That was the fact, right? You're the Legends aficionado, you and Milton.
Jason and Jaina. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
yeah,
Oh, this is really
it's cool
cool.
that they're doing this.
There's a new design of an air speeder or snow speeder, or whichever way you want to go, T61 or T71, whatever they're called. Love the spray, love the paint job. I love the fact that this is the yin and yang. The story of the theme of this whole story is like the evil and the good working together to create something, right? It's like these two people come together, lesser evils to fight the big bad. There you go, working together with the ones you might not want to work together with, but sometimes you just got to put your past grievances aside for the greater good. All right, here we go. We got Grogu there in the flesh. Of course, they're gonna throw him in here, right? This is the poster child of Star Wars. I mean, not so much anymore. There's definitely not that much hype around Grogu as there was 5 years ago. This is just how it
Yeah.
is. Things move on. Um, but I'm excited to see what he has to offer with this.
Be ready for next spring because he'll be back in the spotlight.
Oh yeah. All right, so this is awesome. This is where this show is really getting innovative, is with the scale. The next couple slides I'm going to talk about are the scale of the series, meaning like they're playing within the Lego universe of the different toy lines that they have. Up until now, it's been basically minifigures, like the standard size minifigures and the ships. But now they're bringing in like the extra tall figures, so like they're panicking because there's like one of those like 12-inch like you'd buy it at the store. It's like a 12-inch Chewbacca Lego. And this thing
Yep.
is literally like the size of Godzilla stomping around and it's like hitting an LAAT transport and it goes spinning out of control. Like I love this. I love how they're getting the different styles in this.
Well, that's the nice thing with this franchise is like they don't have to just have it be minifigures running around doing stuff. You can expand the universe with all the different Star Wars Lego possibilities like that. Like you said, you have like the 12-inch Chewbacca builds or whatever, and it makes me wonder like they could do anything with some of these models. Like for example, I mean, who knows? We might turn on this series and maybe get 2 episodes in and we get like a giant C3PO like that at some point or something. You know what I mean? Because it's just like you don't know what to expect with the Lego franchise, which is really nice because Star Wars live action, no matter what it is, and or post Rise of Skywalker, Mando, whatever, we can generally predict what's going to happen. Like with that Starfighter movie, I'd be willing to bet you anything the kid that's in the movie alongside Gosling is going to be force sensitive by the end of it. So like I'm sure that's going to happen, but with Lego, I just can't really predict what's going to happen because it literally can go in any direction.
Oh yeah. And we even have as I seen at Star Wars Celebration Japan, Ashley Eckstein is back in Star Wars, but playing a character that's familiar but not exactly the same. And she is playing an Ahsoka Brickhead. Yes, those different kind of squared off figures that are very blocky. Yeah, as you would see if you clicked on the thumbnail of
Yep.
this video, yes, we got an amazing Ahsoka Brickhead. It's really something special to be hearing Ashley Eckstein as Ahsoka again. I guess she did reprise her role with the Tales of the Jedi series, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't Rosario Dawson, voicing young Ahsoka, but still, it's great to see as Ashley Eckstein getting back in action, still carrying on the legacy of the character that she created.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I really liked they brought her in. I like they brought in some other good voice actors like the guy that plays Huang, his voice is in it.
Oh my gosh, is that David Tennant's voice?
Oh yeah, that's who it was. Yeah, David Tennant. Yeah, he because right after Ahsoka talks in the trailer
Yeah,
is David Tennant's voice talking.
really?
Yeah, because I just watched it before this podcast. I rewatched it
Are you
just to refresh and
sure?
see what
Wait,
it
are
was.
you sure that wasn't K2SO with Alan Tudyk?
Oh no, actually no, never mind. That's who it was. Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk. Never mind. Yeah, it was Alan Tudyk. God, I'm getting my droids mixed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that they brought him in too, just because it's like it's nice we're getting the actual voice actors who play these characters versus like someone just doing an imitation.
Oh yeah, that's what really makes the Star Wars universe special. Is it's so authentic with everything they do. They put extra care into making sure the continuity matches, and that's even the characters and how they sound and behave. Oh man, this is such a great image here. I'm a huge fan of the Dark Troopers, and to see a
Yep.
separate universe of where Dark Troopers are like the sergeants or the lieutenants of like the droid B1 battle droid battalions is such a frightening thing. Like, oh my gosh, can you imagine like how effective the Dark Troopers are, and then leading other droids behind them? That's a horrifying prospect there.
Oh, I know. I thought that was a really cool shot. And I just again, like I said, it's unpredictable what you're going to see with this show.
And that's a great segue because this is about the most unpredictable thing I could think of. A porg flock flying in space, gigantic porgs that are transporting the dark Millennium Falcon in miniature figure in a mini version of that ship. That's such a cool idea with scale, right? This is pulled right out of Ahsoka with the Purgle swallowing, the ghost. Or
Yep.
not even the ghost. No, it wasn't the ghost. It was the other ship. Right? No, yeah, they weren't in the ghost. They were in the shuttle, the T1 shuttle,
Yeah,
Jedi
like
shuttle.
this.
But it's a riff off of that, right? It's like the Purgle. The Porgs are the Purgle of this universe, and they're giant, and they're making that noise, their classic noise. Oh my gosh.
It makes me wonder then, like, if we get to the end of this, are we going to get whatever happens through these 4 episodes, are we going to get to a thing where you get the Porgs transporting some of our characters to a Peridia-esque location, and it's like kind of playing off Ahsoka season 1.
Hmm. In a classic Star Wars fashion, we have what looks to be a gigantic battle, and that is a lot of lightsabers, man. There's the brickhead Ahsoka. There's somebody with a red lightsaber, maybe multiple people with red lightsabers. So we have the good and bad teaming up together again. That seems to be the theme here, teaming up against the greater evil, right? It's just gonna be fun as heck.
Oh yeah, it was a cool shot. I a lot of these shots too kind of remind me of back when I had all the different Star Wars Legos as a kid. Lining up all the characters and like setting them all up and stuff. So I think that's also part of the reason why I'm so fond for this series, because I grew up on all the classic like 90s and early 2000s prequel Star Wars Legos. So it's just like, this just fits so well into my wheelhouse.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And the the worst character in all of Star Wars,
The trailer was good till this point.
the worst character in all of Star Wars somehow weasels his way into freaking an on-screen appearance. I don't know what is Lucasfilm thinking, putting Jackson in the freaking Star Wars on the screen. What is happening over there? Are they running out of ideas? They gotta throw this trash character into this. I'm obviously trying to fake my big
He even says he's a
disappointment.
deep cut.
The funniest part, dude, is that they have the same actor that plays another furry animated character in Sonic is voicing him. Ben Schwartz is voicing Jax.
See, I just I really liked the trailer. I really did. I really liked it. If you would just cut off this final scene, I think the trailer was a great trailer. But with this final scene, it knocks it to a good trailer for me because I'm just like, uh, like
Oh man.
we don't need. Gosh, hopefully this isn't the foreshadowing for live action Star Wars. We're gonna open Jedi the Starfighter movie and Gosling's gonna meet Jackson or something.
Oh no. I'll throw popcorn. I might throw popcorn at the screen if that happens. I might just walk out of the theater on opening night going, "What is Lucasfilm thinking?"
I guess I guess this is my thing. This could be like an aside or a research project for another day. I don't. I mean, I guess I may not. I'm educated about so many Star Wars things, and I know like everything about Legends and a lot about canon. And I just genuinely don't understand their like fixation with this character. Like, there's so many other characters you could be like focused on creature characters. Like, if you want to like I don't know. I just think there's so many ways you could go about doing this without including this character. But like they're fixated on it. Is does I guess for anyone who doesn't know or like a refresher, like do you know like why they love this Jackson character so much? I mean, since you're more knowledgeable about the current canon.
I don't know. It's funny because it was like Cavan Scott is the one that was
Mhm.
championing this character more than anybody. Who he was one of the five architects of the High Republic. He put this character into a lot of his stories, and it seems to catch traction with the more niche part of the fan base, and now they have
Mhm.
been very vocal, and apparently vocal enough to get him into this show. And he is a canon character. He has appeared in a Star Wars Adventures like one shot from Star Wars Celebration Europe 2023. I know it's like such a freaking deep cut just from me
Mm.
mentioning all those things I just did. And now they're gonna make him more visible in an actual project on screen. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the biggest thing with me is like, okay, he's too earthy. He just reminds me of like, cause his attitude is like very much like Bugs Bunny.
Well, that's what I thought of when I seen him. I was like, if I was like not looking at the screen, I would think that's like maybe a knockoff Bugs Bunny talking. Like I was like,
Oh
uh,
man, yeah. There's so many things to say about this character. We might even have to reserve a whole hour one week to talk about the
I feel
positives
like
and
I feel
negatives
like
of this character.
I feel like this could be Milton's favorite character. Joking.
Oh man. Well, yeah. I mean, in general, you know, the trailer is fun. It
Yep.
was a representation of what we're gonna get. Um, oh wow. I think it's literally out in a month from today, right? The 17th, I think it's out.
Yeah, it's in
Um,
September. I do have to say though, and throughout there too, in the first round of the show, for it being a Lego special, and all the Lego specials in general, they've done a good job on choosing their soundtracks and music correctly for the show. Like there hasn't been any music that's felt out of place.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, that's something that I don't necessarily think about when I'm watching it, but that's probably a good thing because it means I'm not noticing anything out of control and it makes me more feel like it's Star Wars, obviously. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So you know, in the next couple of weeks, you know, there's not much. We're gonna take a 2 week break again here. I'm gonna be going away for the weekend. So we're just taking another little break here. But I'm sure in 2 weeks span of time, we're gonna have even more Star Wars to talk about. And if not, then hey, we could just talk about Alien Earth for an hour. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have a news topic potentially for 2 weeks from now actually that we didn't go over tonight. So that's what they call in the business a tease for the next episode. So stay tuned, people.
Yeah, so we want to thank everybody, even people all the way from Europe for watching and listening in. Thank you, Dan Grievous. You can join Dan Grievous in 2 weeks' time as we go live on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern time here in the United States of America. I'll throw it over to you, Ben. I know you're playing a lot of Madden 2026. Yeah,
Yep.
2026.
Yep.
Where can people find you talking about Madden and everything else? Star Wars,
Yeah.
Superman, Alien, and everything else.
Yeah. You can find me talking about all those things at Real Ben Maynard on X and Instagram. And if you want to keep up with Milton as well, Milton is Milton Weber 7 on Twitter. And then he's also Milton 7 Weber on Instagram, and he posts pretty frequently on there, like his fitness updates, his life updates with like his marriage. He's a newlywed and all that, and like looks like him and his wife are having a great time. So feel free to check out his stuff over there.
Yeah, there you go. And you can follow me right here, youtube.com/Starrapter. I have put up a couple book reviews in the last couple weeks, so I do appreciate you go check it out. My review for Star Wars The Acolyte, The Crystal Crown, which is a prequel to the Acolyte series. I do want to do a rewatch for that one day. I mean, the book did pique my interest enough, that and Wayseeker, to like go back and after the Bad Batch rewatch, maybe pick up that series and try again. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I also have my review for, as I mentioned before, Star Wars Sanctuary. What I think of is the best book of Star Wars of the year, and that's stiff competition, man, because there's all good books. You got Star Wars Trials of the Jedi, which is the final High Republic book, but you also had the and I call it an Andor tie, and even if it really isn't, the Reign of Empire trilogy, first book called Mask of Fear by Alexander Freed, who I mentioned earlier. So if you're a Star Wars book reader, you like canon, like you're eating good this year. You really are, because we also have Master of Evil by Adam Christopher coming out in November, a Darth Vader book shortly after he became Vader in Revenge of the Sith. So, oh man, that's gonna be a good one
Definitely
too.
get
I can feel it. What's up?
said I'm definitely getting that
Oh
because
yeah, I
that should
loved.
be that should be really good. And that time period for Vader will be really interesting to explore as well because especially I finished the original Rise of Darth Vader, like the Dark Lords of the Sith book
Mm.
or whatever it's called. That takes place literally like 4 weeks after Revenge of the Sith. So that'll be Master of Evil will be a nice kind of like follow up canon version of whatever story they tell for Vader.
Oh yeah, and the thing is too with this is in the panel for Star Wars Celebration Japan, Adam Christopher was explaining that there's a comic run which I really love. It's one of the best Star Wars comic runs in canon. Um, Takes place right after Revenge of the Sith, like the day that Vader becomes Vader. Essentially, he's like in the suit
Yep.
trying to learn how to work it. That's Charles Soule's 2017 run. This book by Adam Christopher is gonna like be like interjected like through the middle of that comic run. So you're gonna see, if you read the comics, he said you're gonna see like a lot of connections between certain characters, maybe certain events that are gonna interweave between. So it sounds like it was a lot of work on his part, but knowing him, um, because I have talked with him personally a few times. He was on my panel at Star Wars Celebration London 2 years ago, actually. So I know he's up for the task, and he's going to do a great job with that one. So yeah, short little aside outro here for all the Star Wars stuff we have coming out. But don't fret, because we have a lot of that coming out. We have also, if you're a DC fan, I know Milton is a huge DC fan, probably more than both of us combined here, Ben. We have Peacemaker season 2 coming out on Thursday. So
Forgot
I might
about
have to
that
say a
too.
couple words about that on in 2 weeks' time as well. So
A
there you
lot of
go.
stuff.
We got a lot to talk about in 2 weeks' time. We hope that everybody out there listening and watching will be here for the next one. This was gonna do it for Ben, for Milton, who couldn't be here this week, for I, Chris, aka Starrapter. It's gonna do it for episode 205 of the Outer Rim Transmission podcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. May the force be with you always. End transmission.